are our participants apart from our departmental faculty member. So we will wait a few minutes. Then we will start the presentation probably at 4, 5 p.m.
Okay.
After 5 minutes. Ma'am, by that time you can check your mic PPT also.
Ma'am, actually, I think your voice is a bit breaking. I don't know if it is for others also, but for me, it is a bit breaking. Yeah.
Okay. I'm telling that by this time you can check your PPT as well
Yeah.
as your mic also. Your mic is okay,
Yeah.
but you can also check your PPT.
Okay. So you want me to just share that?
When slide is not it is not coming.
Yeah, I have just shared my screen. So can you confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Not coming. Only it is coming. You are presenting that is coming, but
Okay.
presentation slide is not.
Presentation slide is not coming.
No, ma'am,
Is
slide
it?
is coming, ma'am.
Yes. Now it is okay.
Okay. Ma'am, I feel
Yes,
there is
fine,
some
fine.
network issue from your end, maybe. But I think for others it is shown, right? Can someone else confirm me?
Ma'am,
Yes, it is
it's
in the full
visible.
screen now.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Now, now it is
Yeah.
Sarda sir, should we start? you want
Yes,
to say
ma'am, we can
something,
start now.
Sada sir?
Yeah, we can start now, ma'am. All other students are definitely going to join.
Okay,
I
sir.
have given the reminder, they will be joining, so let's start.
Okay, sir. A very good evening to all. And I, Dr. Rashmita Rautray, coordinator of this webinar, welcome you to weekly webinar of Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Let me introduce our organizing team members, Dr. Sarada Prashan Pratti, Dr. Bharat Tiranjan Sao sir, Dr. Divya Sundar Das sir, and now I would like to introduce our today's presenter, Mrs. Manisha Bhujbal. Mrs. Manisha Bhujbal is a senior consultant within Cognizant's core business operations portfolio. She has around 10 years of IT industry experience in Service Cloud and Sales Cloud Salesforce domain, along with web app and mobile testing. Over the past 5 years, she has worked as a techno-functional lead and Scrum Master across various projects for a national health insurance client. Prior to joining Cognizant, Manisha Bhujbal worked as an implementation engineer for another health insurance company. She has expertise in testing domain, which includes functional backend testing, API testing using Postman, mobile testing, and Salesforce testing, along with automation testing using Selenium and Cucumber.
Ma'am, I think we are not able to hear you. Sir, I think if the introduction is done, can we go ahead with the presentation? Is anyone able to?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I would like to thank Rashmita ma'am as well as the whole team for inviting me and giving this opportunity to share with all of you, because it's a real honor to share my experience being in a IT firm since so long. Because once upon a time, even I was a BTech graduate, so it's really a good opportunity for me. So thank you so much. And with this, I would like to start this session. So just a few things to add on what Rashmita ma'am said. So even I had graduated my BTech from CV Raman College in the year of 2011. And since then, I have been working in around four IT firms over here. And mostly when I joined, it was into Java development, and then gradually I moved into testing. So that was a very good learning curve for me when I moved from development to testing. So I think this is a good opportunity for me to share everyone, right, what development is and what testing is and where testing exists, because I'm not okay. So I'll just share my screen. Please do let me know once you're able to see my screen. Yeah. Is everyone able to see this? Can anyone confirm? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll be just focusing on some of the basics of the software testing, which I have been, and I'll just enlighten people like what development is and what is software testing and how does it exist in the IT industry. So we might have heard a lot about testing, but what this testing is about actually. So I'd like to cover the topics like what is software testing, when does this testing happen, the test plan and design in detail, and what are the different types of testing. So I just don't want this to be like one session where I'll be speaking and everyone here out just hearing it out, right? I wanted to make this a interactive session so that at least I can feel, right, whatever I'm just sharing my info, right, everyone is also able to take at least not 100% but at least 30-40% at least. Okay, so can anybody tell me if you have heard what software testing is? Maybe in your syllabus, or you might be having many friends, family members who are in IT firms. So anybody aware of what software testing is? Because development in Java, CSAP, or Bootstrap, you have heard, right? Spring Boot and all, we do developments and all. But has anyone heard of what testing is? Has anyone of you heard? Okay, okay. So actually, what happens is, this is just the bookish description of what testing is, but I would like to tell you testing is something, right? So a requirement will be given to me and I have to check whether whatever is developed or whatever there is a thing is existing, it is as per the requirement or not. So that is what is called as testing. I'm testing a product is whatever is
You can reshare the screen and start again, ma'am. I think accidentally the disconnect button was hit by
oh,
the
okay,
audio.
okay. So may I know till what actually I had, because I was not aware till what I had just said. Had I started with the slide?
Yeah, yes, yes. It was just a minute ago, 2 minutes
Okay,
ago.
okay, 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 sir. Okay, okay. So I was just giving just the example of Amazon or Zomato or something, right? So there, what is the requirement is we should be having an app which will help us in ordering products and all, right? So for that, right, we have to see whether the app is working properly or not. The quality of the app is proper or not. Is the app serving the correct functionality or not? The reason that app is built is help the consumers avail the orders and get it on time. So if that thing is not done, then the app fails, right? So for that, a thorough testing of the app is needed. So that is where a testing comes into existence, right? So now this is the entire testing process. So I would like to just share one thing before going here, right? So how it works in a IT firm? What is the development? What is this testing and all? So let's say once we are in final year, we get pass out, we get recruited in different MNCs and IT companies and all, right? Then what will happen? We will be undergoing the boot camp where they will give us training on development like Java, CSAP, and then into different testing domain like API testing, automation testing, and multiple things. Because nowadays you need to cope up with different technologies. You cannot suffice with one single technology, right? So you need to undergo trainings on different technologies, right? Then in a company there will be around hundreds of projects means these are nothing but the clients. So the clients can be healthcare clients, they can be consumer clients. Okay, so let's say some medical like the pharma companies can be there, right? They want to build some app, then they will approach this IT companies. So that is something called as a project. So then a project come into existence, and when there will be requirement for the project, so they need some developers, they need some testers. So there then you will be asked to join a project. So what a project means, you will be having few set of requirements which the client will provide to the manager or whoever is your dev lead. So they will be taking care of all the requirements to understand the business, what will be the functionality. Let's say we will consider Amazon as a client. So they will come to us and they will just say that we want a app, and that app should be compatible in both Android. You will be using Android, you will be using iOS phones, right? So it's not like that app can be only installed in Android. Okay, it can be installed in iOS also. So this is called as platform testing, where we test a app in different platforms like Android and iOS. So what is the role of a developer here? Can just anyone tell me? So when we get a project that we have to build a app, I think you are doing this mini projects in your syllabus and all, right? If I'm not wrong. So can someone tell me, when you get a project that you need to build a app, let's say Amazon app, what is the first thing you need to do? I think you might have done many projects, right? So first thing is developing or testing. What we do? What should we go with first? It's
Developing.
yes. So it will be developing, right? So for that, what you need to do, you need to understand, right, what pages you need to design for that, what functionalities. So first thing, what is the first page you would like to do? That the login page, right? Then what will be like how you will register the user. The second will be the next screen that will be having list of products. Then how the order page. So gradually you will think of one by one, and that requirement comes from the client. Okay, so client will say, I need this 20 to 30 requirements, so you have to deliver me, and you need to plan it out. So then it comes to the dev lead and the test lead for the estimation. So there will be a dev lead who will be having 3 to 4 developers under him who will be helping in developing the functionality. Similarly, there will be a test lead who will be having 4 to 5 testers under him to carry on the testing process of the app. So when I speak about developer, right, first what they need to do is they need to give the estimate. Okay, for one requirement, how many days will it need to develop? What is the technology or what we need to use here, using Java, Spring Boots, or what we need to develop that products. Okay, so that is one thing. Then second is they will start developing first. So developer will start the development. So what do you think? Will the testers sit idle? When they will be doing the development, they will complete the development, they will develop the app completely, and then the tester will test. What do you think? Will the tester be sitting idle till the time the complete app is developed? Any guess? Will they sit idle? No, because tester will start their process. Because when you are testing, it is not that you will test it informally. You have to prepare some documentation. What? The steps. So how you will test that? How many scenarios you can take to test that? The login ka one scenarios. Then once you log in, for login you need to create a registration flow. So all this the testing team will be taking care of till the product is developed. And the product won't be developed in one night. It will take phase by phase. So accordingly, they will just divide the functionality one day, or 2-3 days login functionality. After 3-4 days it will be registration functionality, and in patches or in different builds they will be sending this to the tester. So then gradually the tester will do the testing. But do you think why the testing is needed? The developer can do the testing too, right? So do you think, is it sufficient if a developer tests the software or the app? Do you think that? Is it enough if the developer tests it? Is it fine? What do you think? Because when you are doing some projects in your colleges, right, you don't do any specific testing, right? Or you do? Is there someone who dedicatedly do some testing? Okay. So what happens is, for a developer, right, the code is like a baby to the developer, right? He thinks that this is my code, there won't be any defect in this. But when a tester tests it, right, they will test that in every different flow. Okay, they will test it in different perspective, and definitely they will try to get at least 1 or 2 bugs. Just tell me, you are using a app and what happens is you are not able to log in, and you are not getting proper error result also, that why you are not able to log in and all. So what will you feel? Will you feel satisfied with that? No, right? The end user won't feel satisfied if there is some issue. We won't feel, right? So that is what happens. A testing is highly needed for testing a app, especially apps like Amazon, Flipkart, because those are worldwide used and it needs to be thoroughly tested. And that is where this testing comes into picture. Guys, just excuse me. I'm getting a very bad cough. Just 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we'll just, I hope you are clear now with the development phase and the testing phase, right? Any doubts, you can just let me know, else I can just move forward. Okay, so this is how the QA process and the checkpoints work, as I mentioned before, right? So as soon as they get the test plan, which is nothing but the bunch of requirements, then the testing team will start with writing the test cases, okay? Post gathering the requirements, whatever is provided by the client. Then what will happen is they will plan how they will do the execution, because it is not just 1 or 2 people, right? There will be 5 to 6 testers. They need to plan out who will be executing or testing what scenarios and all, right? Once they get the build or the app is ready, they will start executing the test cases. Then what will happen is once they execute the test case, it might happen, they might see some defects. Now, how will we track the defects? So there is something called as a defect management tool. And in most of the IT firm, we have been using Jira, Jira. So that is the tool where you can raise the defects and you can assign that to any of the developer who has worked on that module. Okay, so I'll just show you how Jira looks like. So this is, let's say there is some incorrect unit prices there in the order details, okay, for any multi-selection attribute, right? So when you create a Jira, right, you have to mention the type as bug. Bug is nothing but if something is behaving differently than whatever is the requirement, then that is termed as a bug or defect or issue. These are used very interchangeably in the IT industry, okay? So you can call it as a bug or a defect or an issue. Okay, So you have to again give two important things, that is the priority and the severity, which I will be coming in sometime. Then you have to give, this is the heading, what the issue is about, whether you are facing some logging issue or registration issue, you can mention that in one liner. Then in the description you can just give the steps, like how to reproduce that, right? So developers are person who work in the backends and codings, right? So the application flow, they might not be very well versed, so you have to give the step by step process, like what steps you are taking to reproduce that bug. And then you can see here, right, reporter is the person who has reported the issue, and assignee is the developer to whom you are assigning. Okay. And then once it is assigned to the developer, then the developer will start working on that. And once that is done, again reassign it to the tester. Then the tester, what he will do is retest that bug. And if it is fixed, then they will mark this as done with valid proofs. That is for the safety side. They can take a screenshot and check that yes, we have retested and this is closed. So this is how Jira works. Okay. Now coming to test planning and design. Okay. So this is what are some of the artifacts. So first thing is, when a requirement is coming, what you will be doing as a tester, you have to look what is the requirement, what the client needs, what are the functionalities that we have to test. Then test development and scripting means here we have to write test scripts or test scenarios. Scenarios means what all pages you will be testing, what all scenarios in that pages you will be testing. That you have to start writing the scripts. Then when the actual app or whatever the software is developed, then you have to start the test execution. You will start executing the script and start testing the application in actual. Okay. And then you will manage the defect. Defect management means what you have to do. You have to see if there is an issue or bug, track them, log them in Jira, and then retest them once the developer fixes them. So once all the requirements are tested properly and all the bugs are closed, then only you can give a sign off, okay, that you have completed the testing of that functionality or the whole app. Any questions? Any questions regarding the process? Any doubts? No? Okay, I'll take it as a no. So what is the test entry criteria? So there are something called as test entry criteria and test exit criteria. So entry criteria, so this is nothing whatever I mentioned here, right, in this slide. So this is detailed detailing about the process. So as I mentioned, right, so you will do the test entry means you are aware of the requirement, you know what all use case to be created, what are the objectives, what are the product risk, and how you are going to test that app, right? So can anyone tell me, if you want to test this Amazon app, as I mentioned, what was the requirement? Okay, so what all things we need to test that? Can you please tell me? Anyone? What all things are needed to test the Amazon app? So as a tester, let's say you are a tester, you are given the project. So what all things you will consider for testing this? No answers? That means you are following everything or you are not following. What is the first thing, right? It is an app. So what do you need for that app? What is needed?
Ma'am, login page.
Before that, what you need? A device?
Performance testing. Performance testing.
I think performance testing will come very end, right? Towards the end. First thing you need is a platform, right? Devices, whether you want that app in a mobile phone. First is a mobile phone. Then we will come whether that will be Android mobile or it will be a iOS phone, Apple phone, right? So that the developer will build it accordingly, because for Android, they need to build APK files, right? If you are aware, and if you are doing some app projects, right, you need to build the APKs for that, right? And if you want that app in the iOS, then you need to create some builds in Test Fairy and all. I don't want to go so detail about Test Fairy and all, but you need different platforms for that, right? Simple, when you want to install an app in Android mobiles, it will be Play Store. But when it is in iOS, it will be your Apple Store, right? So first requirement will be you have to decide on the device. You have to do the testing in two different devices, because that is called as platform compatibility testing. How the app is compatible in two different devices. One more thing is, even you can open Amazon app in your laptops too, right? So that is called as web application testing. So these are the three different things which is first needed for this. Okay. So you need to write your scenarios accordingly. Testing in an Android device, testing in a iOS device, and testing in the laptop web app. That is called as web app testing. Okay. Then you can start with your scenarios as someone said, right? It will be login page or the registration page. So that way you can gradually go ahead, right? Okay, so here you will actually start writing the scenarios and you have to upload your test cases in some test management tool. So let's say for coding, right, you have GitHub, right? GitHub and all where you have first Eclipse, right, where you write the code. Then for deployment, you are using GitHub. So that is a repository, right, where you will be having all the codes. So similarly for testing, you will ask me, ma'am, where do we keep all these test cases? We cannot keep it in our local, right? Because even the client needs to review that. So we will be having a test management tool, and ideally the test management tool which is used in most of the company is Zira or HPQC or Rally. Okay. So these are few of the test management tools. Okay. Apart from that, I think execution is nothing but you will do the actual testing. The developer will give you the build. You will go to the what do you say, APK, where the APK is present, okay, in the repository. Download the APK, install the app, and start testing. And any defect you observe it, where you will log it? In Zira. Okay. Now, once you see like, okay, these are the three different status, okay, whether the test case is passed. So if you are successfully able to log in with valid credentials, that means your scenario is passed. If you are not and you are getting some error message, then what will happen? Then it is a fail. Okay. And let's say what happens, developer has given a build, but you are not able to install the build itself because of some issue from the development side. So what will happen? You will be given deadline, okay, for testing. So the tester should complete this testing within 2 days or something. Okay, estimated date will be there. So what will happen? Today is the last day. You are not able to test it. So this is priority, right? You have to complete. So in that case, you have to mention this as blocked. Why blocked? So that the client is aware that there is some major issue, there is some deployment issue, or there is some technical challenges because of which development team is not able to give us the build or something, because of which the testers are blocked. So there is no fault from the testing end. So just to raise something, we have to put it as blocked. The status will be blocked. Okay. Now test reporting is closer is, so here the testing team is on priority, and that is the reason developers are a bit also like always after the testing team that we give a good closer. Okay. Until and unless the testing team doesn't give a sign off mentioning that all the functionalities are tested and all the issues are resolved, we cannot give a sign off and the testing closure cannot be done. Okay. So what do you think? Let's say there is a app, I found 10 issues. Okay. Do you think I can give closure only if 10 issues are closed, or if 1 or 2 is open also we can close that? What do you think? Can I close that with 1 or 2 issues open? Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. In what cases? If there are very low priority issues. For example, there is some cosmetic bugs. What are the cosmetic bugs? Let's say there is a spelling mistake with some I or S or something is there. So what we can do? We can fix that in 1 or 2 days. So for that, if the client is okay, we can give the testing closure time. Okay, so there can be some exceptions, right? If there are some very minor or cosmetic issues, then we can just ignore that and give the testing closure. But ideally, all bugs should be closed. Okay. So if you can see, right? So in Zira also you have this reporting details. So where you can see now, let's say there are 30 requirements we got. Okay. Sprint is nothing but in Agile, right? Again, that is one of the, what do you say? That is one of the Agile methodology is nothing but which is being followed across most of the IT firms. So where we will be having different sprints. So let's say we got 30 requirements, then we have to divide it into different sprints. So each sprint is for 2 weeks, 2 working weeks. That is like you can say like 10 working days. Okay, so we have to divide 30 by 4. Let's say if I wanted to divide it into 4 sprint, then in sprint 1 we can just cover the login and registration. In sprint 2 we can just cover the product page. Sprint 3 we can cover the what do you say, the cart where you add, delete, modify that. So accordingly this is being done by the client. So client will be sending out requirements, and that we have to complete within sprints. Okay, so those sprints and all the details, right, that we can find it in a chart format, so that we can see the progress of the testing as well as development. So this is one of the advantage of using Jira. You can get the reporting details and you can send to client. You see, this is the status. So in process is 8, QA has completed 31, we have closed 1 user story. So user story is nothing but the requirements. Okay, don't confuse with this. So in Jira it is called as user story. Okay, and we are blocked with 1. So this gives a detailed description on how we are progressing with the development as well as testing. Okay, definition of done is nothing but all the stories or the requirements are marked as done, and there are no high or critical defects. As I mentioned, right, there can be some minor defects. All open, medium, and low priority defects are approved by product owners. As I mentioned, right, if the client says they are okay to go ahead with the low priority defects, then we can also give the sign off. Okay, this is what I was talking about, the priority and severity, right? So can anyone tell me by the words itself, what do you understand by priority and severity, or both are same? What do you think? What do you think? Anything, be open to any answers, right, wrong, it's everything is welcome. So do you think they are same, priority and severity?
No, ma'am, they are different.
How? Like
Ma'am,
you can
priority is in the order of importance we are arranging them, and seniority is, ma'am, like they have been attended and what to say, the time we have spent on them, something like that.
Yeah, you are partially correct. So just to elaborate more, so priority is like what priority we are giving, like how quickly we need to fix that bug, how much priority we are giving this. Are we supposed to finish this earlier and the other bug late? How much time we need to fix that? Which one to give more priority than the other? Okay, it's like which bug is VIP one, okay, and which is least bothered one. And coming to severity is, it's like how badly it is impacting the software. For example, let's say you logged into the app, okay, and it got crashed. So what kind of bug it is? It will be a high severity because the app is crashing, right? So this need to be attended first, because if the app itself is crashing, no one can use that app, right? So that is high severity, and the priority will be also high. So the developer need to fix that quickly. Now let's say logo of a company. So one of the healthcare company asked me to ask my project lead to develop a web app, and that should be having the company logo. So let's say if by mistake he has given some other company's logo, so what will be it? The severity will be low because nothing changes with the logo, right? You can still use the app with a wrong logo, right? But the priority will be high. Why? Because the logo for a company is everything, right? It is the main thing for a company, because a person knows a company by the logo first, right? So it will be impacting the impacting the reputation of that company itself, right? So this is how it is onto the tester to decide what are high severity and high priority, or low severity, high priority. So this is decided by a tester, and this gradually comes by your experience, right? We have certain norms. So critical bugs needs to be fixed within 1 day, nothing like that, no hard and fast rule, but it should be attended as quick as possible. Okay, high one should be within 1 to 2 days, medium should be within 2 to 3 days, low should be within 3 to 5 days. So accordingly it needs to be attended. So this is about priority and severity. Where have you seen this priority and severity? In Zira, right? So here we have to give the severity and priority. According to that, the developers need to work on that. Okay, fine. Now coming to the different types of testing. Okay, so as you can see, right, we have many types of testing, right? Somebody was telling performance, right, just before. So similarly, we have unit testing, integration, system, reliability, user acceptance, documentation, security, volume testing, load, stress, all those testing are there, right? So basically, this testing has been divided into two types. One is the functional testing and non-functional testing. So what do you mean by functional testing? So, okay. So functional testing means you will be testing an application and making sure all the functionalities are running properly. So you got a requirement that when you enter valid email ID, then you should be able to log in. If you are entering an email ID without @, then it should throw an error. So that is the functionality. And you will test it. You can test it manually. Okay. And if it is correct, you are fine. You will give a OK and pass. If it is not working fine, you will just raise a bug. So whenever you are testing any of the functionality, login, registration, onboarding, then that is called as functional testing. Okay. Now, what is unit testing? So unit testing is the testing which is done by the developer. Let's say a developer is developing the code. Once he develops, he cannot directly give to the tester. He himself has to do one round of testing. And that testing which is done by the developer is called as unit testing. So when he creates the pages, right, he will create first login page. Okay, he will test the login page, then send it to the tester. Second, he will be creating the registration page. He will test the registration, send it to the, he will test it, that is the unit testing, and then he will send it to the tester. So that unit, one by one, he's developing and testing is called as unit testing. Okay. Now, here it is mentioned non-functional. What is non-functional? So non-functional is something which is beyond our control. For example, can you test the performance? What is performance? First thing is, let's say I am just launching the Amazon, okay, Amazon URL here, amazon.in in my web. So how much time it will take to reload? That can I measure? I can take a stopwatch and measure, but actual testing cannot be done. Okay, I'll just come here. Okay, just if I will take my stopwatch and I'll just see, it just took 0.001 second or some milliseconds, but I'm not exact, right? So when we think of performance, there are different tools. Okay, so what we do is here in the inspect, also you can get in the network tab, right? When that thing is there. So here all the details are being saved here, right? When we are opening any report, so the response time here you can see, right, 4,000 milliseconds and all. So here these all things will come up. So this we have to automate using some tools. We cannot manually check that, right? So for that we are having some of the performance testing tool. JMeter is there for testing the load, like how much load a web application site can take. So we have different load, stress, volume testing. So we are having different tools for the same. So whatever is not related to functionality and measuring the volume, performance, the load of an application, those all things are reliability. Security, how can you do security testing? There is a process called as pen test. Okay, that is also we have to run some sets of codes to check, right, that no one else, because in healthcare domain what happens, especially in US, because most clients are like US based, and in US you cannot open someone else's report until and unless you authorize that person. Not even some other doctors can also see your reports until and unless you don't give a consent for the same. So there the security testing comes into picture. So what we have to do is we will be trying to forge that application. Until and unless my ID is not registered to that application, I should not be able to able to get to the login page also. Here amazon.in, I'll type, I'll get the amazon.in page, right? Even I cannot get the amazon.in. This is just an example, until and unless my ID is not registered to that. So that's secure. So for that also we will be doing the pen testing, and also these are different aspects of testing. It's not that just manual testing we are doing a lot of testing nowadays. Okay, so now coming to some other testing also, I'll just tell you regression testing. Okay, what is regression testing? As I mentioned, right, the developer will develop the login page first, then the registration. Then what it will do? He will be what he will do? He will be joining them with an interface, right? We have to integrate that, right? It's not like you will test login page, I will test this page. No, we have to incorporate all those functionality in one app. So gradually, one by one, all the functionalities will be integrated, right? And once those all are integrated, that is called as integration testing. Okay, all the modules, once they are integrated one by another, phase by phase, then that is called as integration testing. Okay, then what is this regression testing? Okay, now assume you have raised a issue that while registering, what will happen? You will give your mobile number and you want to log in with the OTP, right? But what happens, even though you are giving your valid mobile number, the OTP doesn't comes to you. What will you do? You will go to Zira, you will raise a defect. Now what will happen? The developer will look into the issue and he will say, yeah, it is not working. He will fix that. He will again assign it back to you. So what you will do? You will not only test that defect, you will test the entire login page again. Why? Because sometimes what happens, developers will fix one issue, and because of some changes in the code, it might impact some other functionality too. So you need to, even though you have completed testing the login page, you will do another round of regression of the login page. So that because of fixing this defect, some new defect might not have come. So because of that, you have to do a regression testing. Any doubt on what is regression testing? Any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just proceed then. Okay, now smoke testing. Okay, there are two very interesting terms in testing. So when you go for interview also, I would like to share, they would ask me the first question, what is smoke testing and what is sanity testing? Okay, this is the most basic questions which they will be asking. So what is smoke testing? Okay, the person, okay, the developer, he will send you the build you have installed in your mobile. So what you will do is you will not start testing immediately. Login page, okay, login page may this is what is, username is there, password is there. No. What you have to do is quickly you have to take a tour of the whole application. Just clicking the links, just logging in, just seeing all the things, whether everything is fine or not, and if the major functionalities are working or not. So within half an hour or time or 15 minutes of time, you will touch each and every functionality of that app just to make sure nothing is breaking. That quick testing is called as smoke testing. Okay, when you are getting some new build, immediately you have to do a sanity, like you have to just see that app, like it's looking fine, no UI issues, nothing, the text and all are looking fine. When you click on some links, it is not breaking. That is called as smoke testing. And what is sanity testing? Okay, what is sanity testing is, though it is not there in the slide, maybe I'll just tell you what is sanity testing. So sanity testing is you completed thoroughly testing the entire application. Okay, the next day the developer said, I had just done one minor update to the build, can you please retest that? So in that case, do you think will it be possible for you to test the whole application? No. So what you will do, you will be just touching the high level functionality. For example, the order, the cart, then the payment. So what are the important functionality that you will be testing throughout the app is called as sanity testing. Okay, so once you get into this world of testing, right, because this is very short time and I know it's not possible for you to understand each and aspect of testing, right, but you will get to know what are the different types of testing, how testing is involved in what phases and all, right? So when we test a app also, or any web app also, okay, any application or any software we are testing, it's not just manual. Believe me, we are doing different types of testing in different phase of the software development. Okay. Okay. Now, user acceptance testing. Once everything is done, okay, you are done. So my company or my IT firm, my project is being done. Now, what is next? We have to deliver that app to the client, right? We have to share the build with the client, Amazon. Okay. So what will happen? We will be sending it to the client. So the client will be having their tester. Okay. And that testing, which the client will be doing at their place, is called as user acceptance testing. Post, they will be doing the testing. If they didn't like some page, some color is not good, some text is not fine, then they will send the feedback. Hey, we want this change. Can you please do that? So we have to do that. And that testing, which the user, the end user, so we can tell our client as the end user. So what the end user is doing is called as user acceptance testing. So that app, they will be deciding whether this is what they wanted as per their requirement or not, and they will give the approval. Yes, this is what we want this. So who do you think of passing this build to the client? Who do you think? Who is the final gatekeeper? Can anyone tell me? It's a tester. It's always a tester, because believe me, if one issue is missed, it happens. We are human errors will be there. So that is the reason we came to automation. We automated so that any issues which is missed by human code, okay, that automation testing came into picture. So it is finally the testing team who will give the approval, who will give the go ahead, and then the client will take the product, that is the software which they want, right? So if anything goes miss, who is the first one to be blamed for? It is the tester, right? Then there will be justification, right? Yeah, any questions? Anyone want to tell anything? Okay. Okay, this is a very popular joke, okay, among the developer and tester. You might have heard developer and tester are not good friends, but believe me, I don't believe in that. And developers are very good friends of mine, very good friends of mine. Okay. Hello. Hello. Can someone be on mute? I think. Okay. So this is what ideally happens, right? When the developer is testing, as I said, right, the code is like a baby to the developer, right? So that person will say that, no, my code is very perfect. There won't be any issue in that, okay? But when it comes to us, right, the quality team, then definitely there will be some issues, right? But believe me, to my surprise, when my manager comes to my desk and even he wants to test something, suddenly something will break it out. It happens most of the time also. So the manager will be, what are you working on? There are many issues and all. And believe me, sometimes it happens. If there is some bugs, even the customer can also catch those bugs, right? Sometimes it happens. There are some bugs in the app, and then the client will again come back. Hey, what have you done that? Okay. So this is why it is mentioned. This I think very rare it might have happened with me, because I make sure whatever I am delivering it be quality. It should be thoroughly tested, because what a tester does is it depends on the reputation of your project, the reputation of your IT firm. So whenever we are doing something, maybe it is development or it is testing, we have to do that with 100% quality. Okay. Okay, so this is just a funny joke. Like tester are treated as god, because they are the person, right, who has to find out the bugs and ensure that the app is bug free. But definitely they are also humans, right? So sometimes if one or two minor bugs are missed, that's completely okay. That's because I think there is no app which will be 100% bug free. No, it can never be. There will be some or the other issues, maybe minor, but there would be. So 100% bug free application, that's not possible at all. Okay. So this is a funny meme. So they say that developer and tester can't be friend, but you need to know how to tackle this, right? So let's say if a developer is telling that no, I'm not able to reproduce this bug. So what you can do is you can just take a video of that bug. You can just reproduce that, take a video, attach it to Zira and assign to the developer. Then developer might say, hey, it is not happening in my system. Then you can just crack a joke saying that we are not going to deliver your system to the client, right? We will be sending the APK or the build to the client, right? So this is how we have to tackle being tester, right? How to convince the developer. You can even give suggestions. If you feel the color of the app or the color in some page is not looking good, you can suggest. You can suggest the client, hey, this doesn't look good or the flow doesn't look good. So the work of a tester is not just testing the app or providing quality. You are open to suggestions and discussions too, right? So now, just before I wind up the session, I would like to share something. So how many of you think that development is far better than testing? Because this is what when I joined a IT firm, right? It was like, no, we want to be a developer. We want to be a developer. Testing is not of that importance and all. Like, are there few of you who are very much interested into development? How many of you? Anyone who is like very much? No, there will be people, right, who will be very much interested in development. No one interested in development?
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Definitely. Okay. So, guys, this is actually a myth before that development is very much important. We don't have any scope in testing and all. Because believe me, it's not only manual testing. You might have heard of automation, Selenium, Postman, API, backend testing, SQL testing, then what else? So those are the different tools which we are using in testing. So I have learned from manual only. So manual is my base, because if you don't understand manual, how will you go to automation, right? So it is like you need to refine yourself with the advent of technology. What is the latest in testing now? Cucumber, Selenium, what? And in Selenium also you will be using Java coding. So don't think that if you are a tester, you are not going to do the coding. Coding is part of everything. Because now if I want to test any app, right, the same I will just tell you. So let's say I wanted to log in. Okay, I wanted to select a product. Okay, I wanted to select a product. I have to type, I have to then click on this. But in automation, believe me guys, you can write a lot of codes where you can automate the entire process. You will run just one button and you will get all this automated with all the bug report. No need of Zira. You will get a bug report of that, right? So everything is what do you say is now so much automated and moving towards testing, right? There are new technologies coming in testing and all. So this also is a very important thing, right? So never ever you can say that you wanted to be in development or testing, because there are a lot of scopes in testing too. With my personal experience, I have been worked in database testing, into API testing. API testing is nothing but services testing, which we test in the back end. Okay, and then with automation in Selenium, automation in Cucumber. So it depends on your interest where you want to go and all. So I hope it was really interesting for you and you learned something from it, right, regarding testing. Or any questions you want to ask me, anything not only related to testing, anything, you all are welcome. I hope at least you liked the session, right?
Yeah, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, how can I pursue testing as a career?
Okay. So see, as I was telling, right, in 2011, right, I was a campus recruit. It was very new to me. Testing was very new to me. Once I went into the IT firm, then I got to know that there is something called as testing. But I think now most of you are aware, right? There is something called as software testing. So what you have to do is there are many online training sites, Udemy and all, where you can just log in, you can take registrations, and you can just learn different testing tools. If the free open source you want, there are Guru 99, then test sites and all, you can just get online also, where you can get the basic concepts of manual testing as well as automation. And also there are too much online, I think there are a few online sites, right, where you can do the real time testing projects and all. So for automation also, nothing, it's nothing on nothing that cannot be found in online, right? So you have the setup also, you can set up Eclipse, you can set up the Cucumber framework, so you can just install it from online and you yourself can start up the project. Or you yourself can automate the Amazon, Flipkart, whatever site is there, right? You can start automating that, you can do that. And if needed, you can, I don't think there is any course needed, because initially you just need to know the manual and basics of automation, which I think Java you already are doing in your syllabus. So oops concept, Java concept, that is more than enough. And if when you join any IT firm, you can just tell them that I wanted to pursue my career in testing automation. They will be happy to take you in, because nowadays it's not like you are forced to do something. They're looking for the candidates in interest, where they wanted to go to. I hope that's helpful, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you very much.
No problem, no problem. Anyone has any other questions?
Hello, ma'am. I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay, we have not been working in industry, so when students get a job, they come to ask, "Sir, I got a testing job. Should I join, or should I join developer job?"
See, that is what before you asked me, I just told, right? Because, and especially I think guys, okay, especially guys, they are not at all interested in testing. So, guys, I'm telling you, believe me, I have many of my guy friends, right? We started our career together and they were very much interested in testing later on, right? So, you can move to development. But as I mentioned, right, once you join with testing, right, you can move to automation. So, in automation, nowadays, the demand for manual is also like it's basic. That is the basic you should know. But for testing, you should be knowing automation in Selenium, Cucumber, whatever I told, right? API, Postman, database, okay, ETL testing and all. These are very much interesting and like they will give you a good career growth. With my experience, I am 10 years now. I can tell you in terms of compensation, in terms your learning, in terms of your interest, it will give a very good career growth to you and you will get good opportunities in testing. Believe me, gone are the days when people say developers are paid high and tester were looked down. No, please believe me, because I am in this industry since long, so you can at least trust me.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem, sir.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
I think there are no other questions, so it's
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I was asking, does automation testing mean that there shall be no manual testers in the future?
No. See, this is a very good question, and thank you for this question. So, actually, there cannot be any application which can be automated directly. One round of manual testing is highly needed. Believe me, in my company, even though we are having automation, the ratio of manual to automation is almost the same. And again, when we come to automation, right, there are different tools involved, the license involved, and the expenses involved. So we are not sure how many clients want to go for that expense, right? So the first thing which the client want is manual testing and then the automation. So in my team also, I have manual tester, I have automation tester. So definitely the need of a manual tester will be there. But as I mentioned, right, if you are having manual testing knowledge, please upgrade yourself. Not only in testing, right, even in development, right, we are upgrading ourselves, because nowadays one technology we cannot suffice in this competitive industry, right? We need to upgrade ourselves. So if you are upgrading yourself, it's well and good, but that doesn't mean that if you are into manual testing, there will be no scope further. No, that's wrong. Okay, it will still be there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Any other question? Okay. on behalf of our participants, ma'am, I have one query.
Yeah.
So, can you suggest any kind of small project for the duration of 6 months so that we can ask our students for the project component?
Okay, so ma'am, as I already have mentioned to few, I think Arnav or someone has asked me, right? So what you can do, there are different online sites where 99 test and few other you can search there, right? So there you can go ahead with some mini projects for the testing and all. And I think in your syllabus also you will be having your projects, right? Some of the projects in your syllabus. So what you can do, you can ask them along with the software development, right? Can they incorporate the software testing also there? So they need to write the scripts, the scenarios, whatever they have developed, right? How to test that and all that they can also do along your whatever project is there with you. And definitely online there are a lot of sites where they can go ahead and do live projects and all.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for such a wonderful presentation.
Yeah.
Now we are towards the end of this session, so I would like to request Dr. Bharat sir to present the vote of thanks. Bharat sir,
I think you are on mute, sir.
the voice is not
Thank
audible.
you. Okay, thank you. So it seems to be a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all who have helped us making this seminar very resounding. First of all, I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, Mrs. Manisha Bhujbal, for making an excellent presentation and making this seminar very meaningful and interesting. So we get today's seminar. We feel happy by looking at your presentations. You happily presented nice topics, and every student aspire what they will do in the industry, and many topics you have introduced to them. So thank you, ma'am. I would like to express our deep gratitude to our HOD, Professor Devavati Mishra, for guiding throughout the process of conducting the seminar. And I am happy to express vote of thanks to the professors, researchers, and students who are present here, and their presence has made this seminar a great success. I would like to extend my vote of thanks to our coordinators, Dr. Rashmita Rautrai, Dr. Sarda Prasannapati, Dr. Madhuri Rao, and Dr. Divyasundar Das for making this seminar a great success. Thank you, everyone, and I wish you a happy weekend.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, Rashmita ma'am, for giving me this opportunity and the whole team for coordinating this, and definitely all the aspirants, right? I just got this opportunity not to just give a session, but I literally wanted to share my experience with you guys so that it would be little helpful to you, so that you can know how the IT industry works and all, what are the myths, what people think and all, right? So never be scared of anything. Whatever you feel is correct, right? As sir was telling, right, whether to take a testing job or not, it's not about testing or development. Whichever you are comfortable, right? Go ahead with that. It's not like you will taking some job and you are not satisfied. No, job satisfaction is the first thing, right? So if you would have learned, as I told in the beginning, even 30-40% also, I feel my work is done. And it was great feeling for me to be part of this. It took me to my college days 10 years back. So I'm literally grateful to the whole team, whole coordinator who has invited me. Thank you so much. And I'm really happy to join further whenever it is like you'd like to. I'm really happy. Thank you. Thank you all for
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
this
you very
session. Yeah.